Hello everybody, Brother Ed coming to you once again this morning, afternoon. I'm really not even sure. I think it's afternoon. I think it's after, noon. With American Stealth and the news you can use. I figure you can see I'm in somewhat better spirits today than I was yesterday. Been praying a lot. I'm very grateful for the encouragement that I got from many of you yesterday. I needed that. Help me keep myself in perspective and understand that God has got this. I don't, you don't, none of us do. But He's got it. And He's got me, He's got you, He's got the whole world in His hands, okay? Thank you for helping me remember that. I need help with this sometimes myself. I'm not always the powerhouse of strength and durability that I try to be. Found out this morning, listening to the news, that although there have been only 12 confirmed cases of COVID-19, I'm using that particular term for a reason, in Indiana, it is estimated that there are likely to be 70,000 people in the state of Indiana alone that are infected with this condition, this very lethal condition. And obviously my math was off. If there are likely to be that many cases in Indiana, there are likely to be at least as many, or potentially more, here in Kentucky. And it is likely that most of those are going to be in cities, or congested communities anyway, very much like Louisville. So I have had to just simply accept that the likelihood is there that a lot of people, including myself, potentially Maurice, we are either going to become infected and get sick, or we may have, for all we know, we already have been infected, and we just haven't seen the symptoms begin yet. So, that being said, we will find out at some point in the not too distant future which of the three categories that we will fall into. Will we survive? Will we not? Oh no, not yet. I'm hoping that I'm going to fall, I and my family and anybody that decides to come here and be in our community, which it will get up and running, it will be established. I don't know how God's going to make that happen, but He's going to make it happen. So I'm not going to doubt that. I'm going to put my trust and faith in that. I will survive. We will survive. We will adapt, and we will thrive. So that's that. The following is a list of two lists. List 1, Antibiotic Herbs. List 2, Antiviral Herbs. I stress antiviral at this point because the condition of which I speak is a viral condition. The antiviral herbs that you need to get, and even if you have to go to a Whole Foods, health food, wherever you have to go, if you go to a health food store, I'm going to tell you ahead of time, this stuff is not going to be cheap. And then I'm talking to people who actually can do this. If you are not able to, you can't afford to, then if you are able to make your way to me, I'll take care of you. Just please get to me before you get sick. It'd be a little bit easier to take care of you. Preventative measures. Some of these I've never heard of. Astragalus root, cat's claw, cranberry, elderberry, dried ginger root, dried lemon balm, licorice root, mullein, which is spelled mullein, olive leaf, and dried oregano. All of those are antiviral herbs, and that's what you need. These will help to they'll either help to do it, or they will inhibit the replication of this virus in your body. Now, you need to get a mortar and pestle. I suggest granite. Go on YouTube, find out how to properly season it, because you will need to do that before you use it. It's a little time consuming, but it's not difficult. If you need to go back and listen to that again, the list of antiviral herbs, do it. Pause the video after each one if you have to, write it down, and if you are able to do it, go and get these. The reason I'm telling you to get a mortar and pestle is because you're going to need to have something to grind these up with to make your medicine. I would also strongly recommend honey and lemon. If you can get, even if it's the bottles of pre-constituted lemon juice, it's still lemon juice. So get as much of that as you can, because you're going to want to, with some of these, you can add that to it, and the honey has medicinal properties, as does the lemon juice, and you can actually make it taste a little bit better. Okay, now the antibiotic, and you're going to need these as well, because when people come down with a serious viral infection, they often come down also with secondary bacterial infections like bacterial pneumonia, which is common with this condition. So you're going to want to get as much as you can of the following antibiotic herbs: calendula, cinnamon stick, dried clove bud, garlic, echinacea, Oregon grapefruit, marshmallow root, usnea, which I've never heard of, but it's spelled U-S-N-E-A, usnea, uva ursi, which is two words, U-V-A, ursi, U-R-S-E, and one called yarrow. Get as much of these as you can. If you are not able to afford to buy additional bottles, don't worry about it. Most of us generally do tend to take medication of some kind, even if it's over the counter. Start saving your bottles so that you can use them for dosing. The best way to make medicine is to grind these items up in your mortar and pestle after you've seasoned it, and make a tea out of them. That way you can drink it, goes directly into your body, and you can make yourself better. You can make yourself recover from this. And definitely don't forget your zinc and C. If you haven't got it yet, get as much of that as you can get if you can still find it. Now, you may soon be living in much closer quarters than you ever have before, than you ever thought that you might. So, a word of wisdom: families are going to be affected by this. If you wind up having to live in a tent, a family in a tent, or even possibly more than one, that's not going to be easy. Ladies, and even men, there are men that don't really like to have a messy place to live. Just, ladies, try to bear with your kids and your husbands, and understand that men are going to be doing a lot more strenuous work than they are probably accustomed to ever having had to do, for the most part, most of them. Chopping wood, looking, if you're in a community like you should be in, you're going to need to be looking around as often as possible for dried cow and horse dung, because it will help to keep your fire hotter and burn longer than with just wood alone. I would not suggest using dung from any other animal, especially not birds or pigs, because you don't know what kind of outcome could come from that. Since a lot of these viruses do tend to be avian or swine related. Men, fathers, you got to come up with a daddy plan. Okay? You got to come up with something. You must put your heads together and think of every possible variable that could come into play while you are in this unexpected survival mode. Ladies, work with your husband. There's going to be a lot of stress on both ends. Tensions will be high, especially if you have kids. They're going to not understand a lot of this, and it's going to be difficult for them. It's going to be difficult for everybody. You're going to have to put extra special attention and effort into keeping your family together, keeping your heads cool, so that you can maintain calm family relations. Ladies, mothers, you're going to have to come up with a mama plan. Put your head together with your husband, and as I said, you are going to have to, the two of you together, you're going to have to think of every possible potential variable. You're going to have a means of defending your family and your goods and keeping your family together. Make sure you bring a Bible with you. That's all I got to say. And weapons. You're going to need weapons. You are going to need a gun, at least one. You're going to need ammunition. Eventually, that is going to be a need. In the beginning, maybe not so much. But I definitely suggest getting one of those hunting slingshots. Get one, if you can, that has the attachments that make it a crossbow and a fishing reel. You can get those at Amazon.com. They're not exactly cheap, but you can get them. In the meantime, I'll be back Monday with more news and advice. Till then, keep your head up. Remember, you're not in control. God is in control. Somehow, some way, we're going to all get through this. Those of us that survive it and we don't die and go on to meet our Maker and be in paradise for all eternity, which is better, I guess, really, than, it would be. It's definitely better than staying here. But most of us don't really want to do that just yet, even though we know it's going to be, the best that better than we could ever begin to imagine for all eternity. A lot of us don't want to go yet because we don't want to leave our family. We just don't, and that's understandable. I want to experience some adventure in my life other than just hardship for a change. That's my main thing. I want some adventure. At any rate, we got an adventure now, and we got even more coming. So just remember what I've told you. Put your trust and your faith in God Almighty, not in yourself. Pray for wisdom, guidance. Do everything that you can for yourself and your family. You'll be okay. I love you guys more than you can imagine. You mean a lot more to me than you may realize. And I know I do to some of you. And that's comforting to me. It is. At any rate, until next time, be as prepared as you can be. Be in prayer. Be at peace. Don't let yourself get panicked and stressed and worried. Just understand, know in your heart, God's got you back. If you're doing your part as best as you can, as much as you can, He will meet you more than halfway. Definitely, He will. So It's going to be okay. Till next time, Roed the Red, signing out. Love you guys.